So I have a big announcement. What I've been working on for the past, how many months? I don't even know, like a lot of months. I've been working on it for a while, like day and night, and I am so excited to tell you guys. I am starting my own fitness clothing.
So yeah, my jokes aren't that funny, but like, who gets excited over that sort of bullshit? So to start, this isn't a hate video about Tammy. I'm merely just using her as a real world example. I just want to show you guys that these so-called fitness models or fitness mentors are just full of shit, man. Like, they just literally make a living out of your ignorance. And yeah, for those of you who don't know who Tammy Hembrow is, in her own words, she's a proud mother, entrepreneur, Gymshark athlete, women's best ambassador, and fitness mentor. And we'll get back to that mentor bit in a second. Now, there's no denying that Tammy is really good at what she does. She's really successful, and we definitely can't deny she's not good looking. But the interesting question is where did she get all the money from? Oh yeah, that's right. She just preys on insecure girls and sells them these dumb fucking cookie cutter programs. And I'm not even kidding, that's literally how it goes. The logic is, Tammy looks good, and therefore, because she looks good, she obviously knows what the fuck she's talking about, and if I follow Tammy's advice, I'll look good. And this logic doesn't work for a few reasons. One, because you have to assume that fucking she knows what she's talking about. Two, you have to assume that good looks somehow are associated with intelligence. And three, you're not Tammy. You will never be Tammy. So, and seriously, like, who the fuck wants to spend $50 on a PDF anyway? She probably typed it in a night. And if we move to her disclaimer, yeah, we can already see she is basically admitting she doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about with the whole like, I don't know, this might be bad advice. Please don't see me. In Tammy's defense though, at least she wrote hers on like Kayla It Scenes.
Chagarun, chagarun, chagarun.
What they do have in common though is that they think you're all a bunch of basic bitches who will literally do and listen to anything they say. And now on to her training program. And straight away we can see that she makes you do an insane amount of volume, like 200 plus reps hitting the booty. And she probably thinks that doing more volume will ultimately mean more gains. However, if we look at this 2007 study, which measures cross-sectional area of muscles in humans while manipulating frequency, intensity, and volume, we see that there is not a linear relationship between muscle size and total volume. And in fact, people who completed between 50 and 60 reps per muscle group per session actually achieved the biggest difference in cross-sectional area, whereas the people who did between 120 and 480 reps only achieved half as much. And this is probably because doing such a stupid amount of volume will lead to overreaching or overtraining, and thus you won't have sufficient time to recover. And she doesn't even tell you how much to lift, she just says lift heavy. And I mean, I don't know if that's because she's stupid, or she doesn't give a fuck, or she thinks you guys are stupid. So I guess I'll just tell you guys how much you're meant to lift. So yeah, to make gains, you need to be lifting between 60 and 90% of your 1 rep max. How close you want to be to your 1 rep max is up to you. The gains will be the same, but it will determine how you structure your program. Which leads me to my next point. You don't fucking have to do exactly what it says in this program. 3 sets of 12 is just as effective as 12 sets of 3. As long as you match intensity correctly, and this is proven in a 2014 study which measured muscle thickness and 1 rep max after training 2 groups with different programs. One group did 3 sets of 10 with 90 seconds rest, whilst the other did 10 sets of 3 with 3-minute rest intervals. and the study concluded that there was no statistical difference in muscle size between the groups, so it doesn't matter. Well, with that out the way, I guess we can move on to a diet advice now. Classic, 5 to 6 small meals a day. Yeah, people used to think that if you ate smaller meals it increased protein synthesis, but the 2 studies that this is based off are practically irrelevant. They were feeding subjects in a severe calorie deficit, and they were also giving the subjects under the recommended daily intake for athletes for protein. And the other highly cited article that people like to pull up is one containing overweight women, where they were eating again in a calorie deficit, and the people who consumed more protein more frequently were able to maintain more lean body mass. But this isn't relevant again because they weren't even doing resistance training, so who knows if this would even carry across. The reality of the situation is that it's most important to meet your caloric intake for the day and your protein intake. 2 meals, 4 meals, it really doesn't matter. What does matter though is consistent eating patterns. In a 2005 study, regular eating patterns were associated with a better blood chemistry, people were less likely to overeat, and this was again supported in 2004. A study concluded that even when caloric intake was matched, the people who ate irregularly had a lower thermic effect, which may lead to weight gain in the long term. So yeah, keep your meals constant. Wow, shocker, she promotes eating foods that contain saturated fat and cholesterol. 2016 study shows that if we removed 5% of our calories from saturated fats, we will reduce our risk of prematurely dying by over a quarter. And in a meta-analysis in 1997, lowering your saturated fat and cholesterol intake decreases your serum cholesterol levels, and 4/5 of this lowered cholesterol is LDL bad cholesterol. And why does it matter if we lower our cholesterol, and more specifically our LDL cholesterol? Well, because we have fucking data that shows a linear relationship between LDL and plaque size, aka atherosclerosis, aka heart disease, aka the #1 killer in the world. So yeah, I'll give credit where deserved. I mean, she does mention tofu and nuts, but she forgets the other roughly 97 edible legumes. Quinoa, lentils, green vegetables, and if we scale protein via calories, we see that 100 calories of broccoli has more protein than 100 calories of beef. And then yeah, to finish herself off, she just goes full retard and says protein powders. Yeah, I'm pretty sure most people wouldn't consider them a good source of protein, Tammy. Avoid eating fruits because fruits contain sugar. You do realize fruits are healthy, right? And I mean, this is probably because she's just like every other retard out there and thinks that eating fruit is just like eating pure sugar.
I like to eat clean. The bottom line is fruit really is pure sugar.
But in a 2008 study, we see that unlike fruit juice, whole fruit isn't associated with type 2 diabetes, and this is probably because, unlike what Tammy wants you to believe, most fruits are actually low GI due to their high fiber content, and not to mention all the vitamins and antioxidants they contain, which is probably why in a 2015 study, we see that fruit consumption was inversely associated with all-cause mortality. The most retarded thing though is like, this is an 8-week program. Like, what do you do when the 8 weeks are up? It's like the equivalent of, you don't have your driver's license, so Tammy Hembrow drives you around for 8 weeks, and then when the 8 weeks are up, she just stops the car, throws the keys in your face and says, "Fuck you, bitch, I'm out." So yeah, that was a bit of an exaggeration, but I mean, it's obvious that she doesn't really want to teach you any real lifestyle changes. So yeah, that's why I think all these fitness models and mentors are bullshit. They don't give a fuck about you, they just want your money. Don't be a basic bitch, do your research, follow the science. But if you still don't believe me, at least save yourself $50. Just go on the internet and find yourself a free version.
With your retards.
Retards.
I'm a retard.
Fucking retards.
You your retards. With your retards. Hello. Yeah. Hello. I'm a retard. And